This podcast gets support from our friends at Howie's Market. Howie's Market is your one-stop destination for full-service grocery, including the best meat and fish departments in all of Southern California.
And don't forget about the hooch, Adam. Howie's Market also offers the finest wines and spirits and a wide variety of craft beer selections.
And if that's not enough, and why should it be, Howie's Market hosts monthly wine tastings and parking lot barbecues every single weekend.
We're talking tri-tip sandies, half chickens, baby back ribs, all beef hot dogs, and more.
No wonder they were voted the best butcher by Los Angeles Magazine. So head on down to Howie's Market, open 7 days a week and conveniently located in the heart of the San Gabriel Valley at 6580 North San Gabriel Boulevard.
Stop on in and tell them Nation Golf sent you.
And give them a follow on Instagram at Howie's Market. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Can you tell I'm in a car right now too?
Just because I can see you.
Yeah. Okay.
Looks like your wife's car. It looks nicer.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't smell like cigarettes either.
Take it easy. Should we just get into it?
Yeah, man. That's what this thing is.
Holiest of hellfire, it is finally here. The moment we have all been waiting for, asking for, hoping for, planning for, dare I say, dying for.
Do you want it?
I don't want it.
Because you're asking for it. You're dying for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is movie premiere week at Nation Golf. Welcome to the fellowship. My name is Adam Hawk, but from now on, you can just call me Coach. I demand to be called Coach. On my screen today is Ryan Engle, who is sitting some 50 miles down Interstate 5 at Nation Golf headquarters in San Clemente. Engle, good to see you through the magic of Al Gore's World Wide Web. How the H are you?
What a wonderful question, Adam. Thank you for asking. For anybody that doesn't know the distance between Fullerton, California, and southern Orange County, it's 50 miles. And if you needed to measure that, you could go and trace yourself back to every single episode of Adam complaining about his drive to work. So, it's 50 miles on the dot, not one more, not one less. And you hate to hear it, quite frankly, because we've heard it enough.
Oh, I am nothing if not predictable. What a day for us to not be in person together. You are at Nation, I'm in Fullerton. And when I say I'm jamming this recording into my schedule, I am jamming this recording into my schedule. Today, I have a mandatory all-staff get-together with the Southern California Golf Association at Yorba Linda Country Club, and I need to be there in about 90 minutes, and it's an all-day affair. I've got setup duty. I have no idea when I'm going to be able to upload this podcast. I have no idea if this podcast is even recording right now. We had some microphone malfunctions on my end. But horrible timing today for us not to be in person. We just launched a pre-sale on what many are already calling the best and most special product in company history. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vacationer Golf Bag is here. Take it away, Ryan.
Well, as many of you might already know, I've been collecting vintage bags since I can remember, since my grandfather gifted me one of his Pro-Am staff Bob Hope bags that I still have on display in the office today. But just like the hard collar that I started designing and remaking, I realized that there's a plethora of other items that aren't available today that I want to make readily available. And that's what the whole story of Nation Golf is. And the staff bag is just one of those things. But the problem with the staff bag, especially the vintage ones, they're so damn big. Unless you're Boss Hog and you have your own golf buggy with the horns on the grill, kind of a little too much, too cumbersome. And back in the day, you had these guys, when they traveled, they would take something known as a passport, which is a slender staff bag. And you heard it here first, folks. Today is not only the launch of our sale and the start of us going down a new category in large golf accessories, but It's also the beginning of a new revolution, Adam. And I don't know if you knew this, but this marks the day as the death of the kooky kickstand bags. That's right, folks. It's time to unscrew those things, throw them in the trash. So when you do donate your old bag to Goodwill, it doesn't have the dorky kickstand still attached to it, and upgrade yourself to a luxurious carry bag, the Vacationer, because golf is a vacation and this is your bag.
Got a lot of flack for your 7 deadly sins last week. A lot of people very upset with the things you had to say, specifically making fun of kickstand golf bags.
They're so hokey. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
My friend Jason Nibel had a real issue with you going after people that push their bag on a cart.
That is the biggest sin.
He referenced his grandfather who showed him the game and still wanted to walk at an old age but could not schlep the bag, and so he opted to push instead of to ride.
Obviously, there's exceptions to every rule, Adam. Nibel's grandpa, sure, he was a great guy. That being said, this was for those who want to be a core lord. So if you're a core lord and you have a push cart, now your grandpa probably a steward of the game. Awesome. Taught you. But was he really a core lord? Was he in there putting acetone on his ferrules and switching out shafts and trying to get the grips that make his fingers fall off because he's too hardcore to switch to win? Probably not. Most grandpas weren't, and that's okay. The core lords, I'm talking about the salty dogs. Shout out to old salty golf. You know who you are. You want to be a core lord. Those deadly sins were for those. We're striving to get there. And God knows there's not a lot of us out there, Adam.
Back to the Vacationer golf bag. What is it, folks, in case you didn't glean the necessary information from the designer Ryan Engle? The Vacationer is only the swankiest golf bag to ever hit the free market. Fellowship podcast listeners, words do not do it justice, but this work of art is a compact shoulder bag just oozing with luxury. And look, I get it. I used to work in car sales. I understand that Big Auto would never conflate the words compact and luxury, but Big Auto don't know dick about this bag. The Vacationer stands a modest 3 feet tall. It's only a foot wide. Guess what? It's all you need. This show pony is nothing short of a pocket rocket. Ivory, white, faux, exotic leathers, gold piping, just invokes heaven on earth, plush 5-club divider, 3 generous compartment pockets, and dual Smoking Tom needlepoint embroidery that would have made Betsy Ross an absolute nobody if she was stitching Old Glory today instead of back in 1777. Now, when I say the Vacationer golf bag is here, that's not exactly true, is it, Ryan?
Just like any vacation, Adam, you have to book your trip. Not a lot of us have private jets that you can just have them bring around the front and jump on board. You got to check your balance on your credit card, plan a little bit into the future, and be like, let me book this and painfully wait for the day where I can finally get the fuck out of here and have a good time. That's what we're doing. We're pre-sailing this biatch. Do yourself a favor. You know you're going to get completely railed by all the Christmas shopping last minute for everyone else. This is your chance, guys. Treat yourself now. Put a little money down. And by Christmas time, when you're broke and you can't afford to buy yourself anything nice because you're being too giving to everyone else, the Vacationer bag will show up on your doorstep. And it'll be such a nice surprise, Adam. Look, we don't normally do stuff like this, but this sample came in. We had our party coming up. We're so excited about this damn thing. We had to show it. We couldn't wait. We appreciate anyone who wants to get on board. And if you don't, wait till they ship, come down, see us, shake a hand, pour your whiskey. All good too.
The Vacationer golf bag, sure, we're not holding them in our possession at this moment, but we encourage you to use your imagination with us and truly think of what a vacation is. No one buys a vacation and goes on it the next day. Who the hell do you think you are, James Bond?
Yeah.
You book a vacation and you wait, and the wait builds excitement and gives you something to look forward to. And listen closely here, folks. Not everything in life has to be Amazon or the microwave. Patience is a virtue. This pre-sale is akin to a plane ticket and hotel reservations. You book those in advance, you take out the red Sharpie, you circle getaway day on your calendar, you kick back, you put your feet up, and you ignore your boss for the next 3 months because you can't wait to get the hell out of there. That's what this is.
Exactly. Well said. And you just love to see it.
And if you hate us using our podcast as a promotional platform, we don't blame you. This will be the last episode we do it for a while because we are pre-selling a crazy cool item right now, and we have a party coming up this weekend. I wish we could be done promoting agenda items, but there are just a few more to knock out before we get into the meat of the episode. The golf bag is live. We're taping a podcast. We've got a massive sale continuing on the sale tab of our website. We have brand new hats inspired by Ben Hogan, Miller Lite, Miller Genuine Draft, and Camel filtered cigarettes. Those are live on the site as well. And on Saturday, we are hosting that party at our shop in San Clemente from 6 to 9 p.m., where we will have food from our friends at Howie's Market, live music from the Victor Gonzalez Jazz Quartet, raffle prizes, fellowship, drinks, and the premiere of the 16th annual Nation Desert Classic movie.
Yeah, plus some special announcements and some good old-fashioned fellowship, some cigar smoking, some jaw jacking, some drink sipping, some lip slipping, and some good old-fashioned good times. And Adam, if you can't make it here, don't worry, folks. We're doing something special for all of our interweb customers. We are going to be auctioning off in an opportunity drawing a sportsman contract for the year. That's right, folks. Your chance to become a Nation Golf professional staff stalwart. And with that comes a contract for a calendar year to receive one of everything Nation Golf makes, to be first on the list on invites to everything Nation Golf does, and to truly feel like you are the Smoking Tom. So please jump on in, grab a raffle ticket, or grab a raffle ticket for your dad. Hook him up. You know his style sucks. He's probably got a closet full of gray Travis Matthews polos with palm trees on it and stupid dad hats with a big TM logo on it, the drawer full of white belts and ankle socks. Let's help the guy out, man. Put him in a couple hard collars and watch him peacock into the 19th hole while Patty and all the gals just want to come and take a photo with him. Give the gift that keeps on giving and upgrade your father's horrible wardrobe.
And I just want to say that we have been extremely busy, and that's a good problem to have, but we could not get any of the stuff done that we wanted to get done without the help of our great friend, Justin Jung, our partner and the man behind all the great videos you've seen these past 2 weeks on our Instagram. And he is somebody who will be part of a big announcement that we make next week, and we are very excited to make that announcement. We're going to talk about pro golf here in just a second, but before we do, I was in the car with my wife the other day running some errands while the kids were in school, and she actually suggested that I turn on our podcast because she's a couple of episodes behind and she's trying to catch up. So I was pretty elated when she asked me to turn on the podcast, and her phone was hooked up to the car, so it was already ready to go where she had last left off. So I turned it on, and she was listening to an episode from a few weeks back where we were debating who had the better season, Scottie Scheffler or Xander Schauffele. And I'm telling you right now, Pards, I have never seen somebody hit the 15-second fast-forward button more times than her. And I am watching this as she's just feverishly skipping through the pod, and I ask her, "What are you doing?" And she says to me, "Oh, I always skip ahead when you guys talk about golf." And I have never felt so insulted and so amused at the same time. She loves the podcast. She hates the golf talk.
Love it.
So here we go with a warning to my wife. Let's talk some golf. Congratulations to Hideki Matsuyama for winning yesterday, as the first of the 3 legs of the FedEx Cup Playoffs are in the books. And for those of you with a million better things to do and care about, the PGA Tour somehow tricked the FedEx company into spending hundreds of millions of dollars a year on a completely ridiculous postseason that no one really understands and even less people care about. Before the St. Jude Championship this week in Memphis, Scottie Scheffler, the number one player in the world who is having the best season of golf since early 2000s Tiger Woods, called the playoff format silly. Not my words, his.
I would talk about it the last few years. I think it's silly. I mean, you can't call it a season-long race and have it come down to one tournament. I mean, hypothetically, we get to East Lake and my neck flares up and it doesn't heal the way it did at the Players. I finished 30th in the FedEx Cup because I had to withdraw from the last tournament. Is that really the season-long race? No. I mean, it is what it is. It's a fun tournament. I don't really consider it the season-long race, the way it's called. But, I mean, you got to figure out a way to strike a balance between it being a good TV product and it still being our season-long race. And right now, I don't know exactly how the ratings are or anything like that, but I know for a fact you can't really quite call it the season-long race when it comes down to one stroke play tournament on the same golf course each year.
He has a point there, folks. A really, really good point.
When you're taking pro golfers and putting $10 million on the line and a quote-unquote season-long race, but you're giving guys a head start by making the leader 10 under already or whatever the fuck they do, Adam. It's like, yes, he's right. This is silly.
I think it's silly.
End of discussion. Where else do you want to go with this? Instead of trying to explain to me your Captain Obvious take in rebuttal, when is someone going to give us an actual good argument here with some fucking ideas on how to make this exciting? Because I'll tell you one thing right now. I didn't watch the St. Jude. I ain't watching the BMW. And if you think I'm going to watch some limited field East Lake event with guys with a head start, you're kidding yourself. The season is over. The race is over. Scottie's so far out in front. It's a done deal. History will remember him as the best player this season. He's lapped the field in money and points. It's over. So, FedEx, here's my suggestion to you. Go ahead and pull on out. Take that $500 million you're spending on prize purses throughout the year or whatever the hell it is with marketing and all that stuff. Make your product cheaper, and we might use you in our online store. But until then, we're going to be continuing to stay with USPS and UPS on the occasional ground advantage, and that's just going to be it. So, FedEx, you're trying to market to a golf customer here. We are your customer. Your product sucks. It's too expensive. And quite frankly, the guy who drops the stuff over here, he's just really rough with the packages to begin with anyway. So the FedEx Cup is a joke. Everyone knows it's a joke. Everyone who's a core lord knows it's a joke. And even Nivel's grandpa probably would have thought it was a joke too.
I do want to correct you on one thing. They are now up to paying first place $18 million. It started out as $10 million. They are now up to paying first place $18 million.
Would you watch the Indy 500 if the best driver in the world had a 3-lap head start? What are we talking about?
I agree with Scottie and you that the FedEx Cup playoffs are silly, and so is the championship at East Lake. I think Scottie was saying it's silly for a different reason than the point that you were making. There are guys in the playoffs who would have to win all 3 events and then do it again for a second time to match the amount of victories Scottie Scheffler has had on tour this year. And if you read between the lines of what we just heard Scottie say, he is saying, I have decimated the PGA Tour this year in a way that no one has seen in 20 or 25 years, and I still have to go out and win a stroke play event in 2 weeks at East Lake to prove that I was the best this year. So please don't call this the season-long race. It's more of the 4-day race once we get to Atlanta. That's what he's saying. And here's what it's really like. Scottie Scheffler just ran a marathon with 200 other racers, and he beat them by 10 miles. He absolutely dusted the field, rolled them up in a carpet, and threw them off a bridge. Now the race organizers are going to take the top 30 finishers from that marathon, line them up again for a sprint, and whoever wins that sprint race will be declared to have had the better marathon race. That's exactly what the FedEx Cup playoffs are, and why Scottie thinks it's silly, because he still has to win a golf tournament. the last tournament of the year coming up in 2 weeks, to prove that he had the best 2024 season, according to the PGA Tour. And this is where all the first take, NFL worshiping, Skip Bayless wannabe absolute clowns come in and say, well, that's just sports. Plenty of teams have historic regular seasons and then have to prove it in the playoffs. It doesn't always work out, but that's how every other sport does it. Look at the undefeated Patriots who lost in the Super Bowl. Look at the Dodgers who win 100 games in the NL West every year and can't bag a World Series. You got to prove it in the postseason if you want to be the best of the year. Great, I hear you. Now listen to me. Listen to me very carefully, sports bro. I want you to put down the hot wings, slide your Michelob Ultra Light out of arm's reach, tell your server at Dave & Buster's that you would like to close out, take off your jersey with another man's name on the back of it, stop watching daytime programming on ESPN where old guys in three-piece suits scream and yell about teenagers, and just calm down. Because golf is not like other sports. It never had playoffs until 2007. The FedEx Cup is not old enough to vote in this year's election. And the reason golf never had playoffs is because playoffs make absolutely no sense. Because in golf, you are playing against the entire field, not a single opponent or team. Do you know how much harder it is for Scottie Scheffler to beat 29 other guys at the same time than it is for the Patriots to beat the Giants in the 2007 Super Bowl? Winning golf tournaments is arguably the hardest thing to do in sports because of how many people you have to be better than. All the other sports, besides racing, are one-on-one, opponent versus opponent, team versus team. Golf is like WWE SummerSlam with every wrestler in the ring at the same time. So please stop comparing golf to other sports when it comes to playoffs. They are not the same, and frankly, golf shouldn't have playoffs because they make no sense. And I can hear a bunch of listeners grumbling right now that Scottie is going to have a 10-stroke lead at Eastlake when he gets there. No, he is not. He is going to have a 2-stroke lead over second place. And that lead gets bigger and bigger as you move down the board. Again, this entire thing is so dumb that we quite literally have what Engle coined last year as the one and only reverse net championship, and it's in pro golf. The only reverse net championship in the history of golf where the best player gets strokes instead of gives them is played at the highest level of the game. The PGA Tour is trying so hard to make playoffs in golf happen that you just have to stop for a second and think about how dumb that is, and you will realize why Scottie called it silly.
I think it's silly.
And why Ryan and I cannot be bothered with it.
Imagine taking the meeting and sitting down in a room, and you're all the suits, you're all these avid golfers that are on the board for the PGA Tour, and you're making decisions for the biggest stage in pro golf. What should we do? Well, FedEx is here. They got $300 jillion they're going to throw in the pot. Okay, well, let's kick it around the horn. What do you think, Rick? Well, I don't know. This, that, the other. What about you, Bill? Well, maybe we should do this. Frank, what do you want to do? I got it. I know how we'll get everyone to watch. A net championship for the title. Are you fucking kidding me? Next. Everyone's fired. Let's get some core lords on the board. Because everyone who's making these decisions, Adam, they all have push carts and stand bags and mallet putters. It's embarrassing. Take your clip towel and wipe that shitty grin off your face because the FedEx Cup sucks.
Fucking thing sucks.
This thing is so stupid from every angle. The format is wacky, and it's simultaneously not fair to the best player, yet it handicaps the best player. And the fact that Scottie felt compelled to call out how silly it is amazing.
I think it's silly.
Especially when he could have just as easily said nothing or something far less damning. And again, this is Scottie Scheffler, the same guy who quite literally thanked a police department that arrested him and charged him with assault. And he is calling the playoffs silly.
I think it's silly.
The big takeaway here, Hawk, is look how well he gave his opinion and essentially criticized. There's just not a salty, bad bone in this dude's body. And he's the best. And he was like super gentleman about being like, well, it's silly. And this is why. And this is what I think. And whatever, I'm going to show up and play anyway. We need more boring golfers. That's what we've learned throughout this season. Because what we've learned throughout this season, Adam, is when talking about the passage of time.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time.
Is that the boring golfer is the exciting golfer, and it's just all come full circle here, and you just love to see it. Big Scottie guy, Ryan Engle, big Scottie guy.
Scottie is the face of golf. He's a tour loyalist. The guy is so nice that it is boring, and he is the one calling the playoffs silly.
I think it's silly.
So now the genie is out of the bottle. The toothpaste is out of the tube. There is no going back or coming back from those statements. These playoffs will forever be known as silly.
I think it's silly.
And if you are FedEx right now, you haven't had this bad of PR since Tom Hanks went down in one of your planes and made friends with a volleyball in the movie Castaway.
I was thinking the other day, because when you're on the world's worst place on earth, golf Instagram, when you're on there and you see everyone making the same take, oh, Scottie's boring. You could time capsule this season, put it on a day, and and in the future, getting Doc DeLorean's time machine and go up and see your great grandchildren and just go, let me show you one of the best golfers I ever saw. And you put the DVD in. Well, hey, Grandpa, people thought he was boring. He's dominating. He's sliding all over the place, and he's piping it. Yeah, sounds real boring to me. Someone who absolutely stripes it under pressure, flags it from everywhere, and he's moving all over the place like Gumby on a pile of shampoo, dude. I guess that's boring. Just more push carts, just COVID push carts all over the golf world.
Do you really think push carts started with COVID?
No, but they multiplied like a alien infestation.
Look, I get your point on everything you just said. I got a little taken aback because sometimes you get in over your skis with your analogies and your passion. And these jokes, they're fantastic. They land, they make me laugh. I could not get over the fact that the grandson in that scenario sounded exactly like Mickey Mouse. And that you think push carts came from COVID.
No, push carts multiplied from COVID. I was saying that, like, hey, all you COVID golfers who have opinions on golf Instagram now because you just got your first white belt in the mail, take your push carts out of the equation for a minute and slow down and realize that the core lords are here to watch Scottie dominate. So just letting you know.
How was your week? You played golf on Wednesday. You went to the fair on Thursday. You played golf again on Friday. You went to an absolute meat cookout on Saturday. And you left Justin Jung and I to do all the work these last 5 days. How was your week? We'd love to know.
Left you to do all the work, huh?
Let's get some content out of you skipping work so at least something comes from it.
Played San Juan Hills on Wednesday. We had a travel day for the Gillis Group, and my good buddy Josh Poitovin's a manager over there, and he got us all a time, and it was really neat getting out there on a different track, getting into the dirt in my own backyard, and that was really cool, and we had a ball. I don't play there as much as I used to when I was younger, but pretty fun to get out there and slap it around. Had another 16 par day.
Let's stop right there. This is ridiculous, folks. He's not lying. This guy makes par all the time. 16 of them. And we've heard him recount rounds on this podcast many times of 13, 14, 15 pars. 16 of them on Wednesday. What'd you shoot, 73?
I was 2 over. I can't remember if it's 71 or 72 there. And both the bogeys were fucking bullshit too. One was just like a full like first hole stone out, just sloppy. And then the other one was like a full on robbery, you know. And the real robbery was I had a lot of looks at birdie and just burning edges, man.
Friday, you go over to Trump National in Rancho Palos Verdes, a spot that is so far out of the way in Southern California. It's like Malibu of South Los Angeles, North Orange County. It is just so hard to get there, but worth it when you got there. Did you enjoy the property?
That little sliver of the world right there, it's like a slightly developed backside of Catalina. You can squint your eyes and be like, this is what California looked like. This is special. And the little coves down below, that course, I had some expectations going into it. It exceeded all my expectations. Rye, every year for his birthday, he books something that's kind of splurgy, and it's just a once a year thing. And I love doing that because I don't spend that much on golf. So every now and then to splurge on something nice, I look forward to that. For the cost, I think we teed off at 10. It was like $213. I would 100% do that again. Whereas we've played other resorts in the past, and I won't name names here. It was like, well, that was cool. Enjoy the day because of company, and it's nice to splurge, but probably not coming back.
Don't worry about naming names. You did it last year with Pelican Hill, or as you call it, Pelican Point, and you tattooed the shit out of them for an entire podcast. So I like how you're not going to name names now.
Yeah, well, I've moved on. I'm maturing. I'm growing up.
So you've had a hell of a week. Good for you. Nice run. It's back to work now. A lot of things to do before the party on Saturday. Glad that you had a good time at San Juan, the OC Fair, Trump National, and Rye's famous annual meat cookout. I myself have been experiencing one of the great joys in life, and that is coaching. And this is my 6th season coaching soccer, and I see you shaking your head. I don't know why. What issue do you have with this?
Folks, he just can't wait to talk about his coaching, talk about himself. He tried to do it last night on our business call. Here's your chance. Adam, take it away.
Listen, bud, I love it. I love being in charge of these girls who are so nice and so sweet and listen and are getting better. And beyond loving being their coach and being in charge of the team, I love winning. And we went out and won our first game of the season. We're undefeated. I went straight home, refreshed the division standings, and I see our name at the top. And this is the kind of stuff that just gets me fired up. And when we left the field on Saturday after winning 2-1, in which my daughter scored yet another goal, I said, wait till we get in the car and then we can let this all out. Got in the Hyundai Tucson, closed up the doors, and just let out a big old just all stoked on that massive win.
Good for you guys, man.
You ever coach?
Yeah.
It's better than playing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, could be. Or as Ryan Munson would say, maybe. Maybe.
I didn't even notice he does say that a lot.
It's the ultimate response. When someone's boasting, bragging, or you can tell borderline possibly lying, you could argue with them. You could try to get your point across. You could sit there like everyone else does nowadays and type words thinking you're going to convince some other idiot his dumb ideas are wrong and yours are right and vice versa. Or you could just let it all slide, let them get their wind out, and right when they're done, hit them with the best response of all time. You can even smile when you do it. Go, maybe.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe this. I'm in the car doing the podcast, as you know, because I couldn't do it inside the house because everyone's getting ready for school and I can't talk and yell. And guess who needs the car now to go to school? Oh my gosh, dude.
This is Fellowship Raw. These are the raw clips.
Yep, I got to get out of the car.
He's getting out of the car. Hi, Mina.
Ryan says hi. My wife just opened the door and she said, it smells in here.
Well, yeah, because you were in there. It probably smells like Egg McMuffins, dude.
No, she said it smells like Right Guard or Speed Stick or whatever the hell I'm using now.
Oh, yeah, dude. Now you're in the real level, dude. You've leveled up to this Speed Stick smell. They hate it. They hate it, and I love it.
Yeah, they're going to have to get used to it. Give me one sec. This episode is so shit and all over the place. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound a lot more echoey and shitty. Do you want to go in your car?
Am I good now?
No, it sounds like fucking like crazy echoey.
It does?
Yeah. You sound like you're in a fucking elevator or something.
Really?
It's because you're not in a car with a closed environment.
Well, I'm in a room now. Is it better?
Yeah, that's better.
This is absolutely a result of you and I trying to do too much.
I think part of it is you not doing enough, to be honest. And I'm glad we're getting into this because sometimes you got to take Engle's advice. It's the two greatest letters put together, creating the greatest word, in my opinion, the greatest response. It's even better than maybe. It's my favorite. No.
Mm.
You need to learn how to say no. Then you come to Nation Golf, record the pod, and let's smoke some cigars, Adam. You got to get your priorities straight. Tell them no. What are you going to do? Fire you?
Ditch the 9 to 5 with the benefits that pays for everything and come down and smoke cigars. Great advice.
Didn't say ditch it.
I have about 6 minutes before I have to leave, so let me rifle through some cell phone notes. Have you ever worn red on accident to Target?
No, but that's funny.
I saw, I saw a guy wearing red, and I see it all the time. And you always watch these people get asked by other people where something is. And
Yeah.
they're like, I'm just shopping here too. Oh, really? You look like you're dressed for work.
Yeah.
When's your break, buddy? What are the benefits here? When are you off?
Well, especially if he had purple hair, you'd be like, oh, he for sure works here.
A lot of freaks working down at the Target in SJC.
Oh, yeah. All the purple hairs, all the blue hairs, a lot of colorful lettuce down there.
I watched the U.S. Amateur this weekend. It's such a great tournament, and I love it. And it was way more interesting than what was happening at the pro game. And I especially loved that I personally knew 4 different players in there from having been around them and met them during SCGA Amateur Championships. That was cool. I do want to say, and this is a topic for a different podcast, these young golfers being so devoid of a personality is a major, major problem. And I think it's because they don't play other sports the way that you're supposed to become a well-rounded, adjusted individual. They're not in a locker room getting the camaraderie of other guys and other gals for that matter. They are so isolated and on their own, and they're playing one game 365 days out of the year. And they just get in their own little bubble. And then when they do get around the other human beings on the golf course, they don't say anything. They don't talk to them. They don't engage with the volunteers or the referees of whatever match they're playing. And yes, golf officials are called referees when they're refereeing a match. And you just see, unfortunately, a robotic youth who is taking their cues from a robotic professional golf tour. And we're just never going to see the Steve Elkingtons, the John Daly's, the Chi Rodriguez's, the Arnold Palmers ever again. It's over.
There's guys that had to watch their own ball flight to figure it out and be around elders to learn the nuances of the game. And then there's guys who watch their stuff on slow motion video and listening to mental coaches. It's a different game. You got a bunch of guys with their blinders on, staying in their own world, worrying about the numbers. That's why I've always said competitive golf, especially televised, has its place, but it perils in comparison to the real game. And the real game is what you and I peg it up for on a Saturday morning with the bloodies and the cigars and the banter and watching each other fuck up and laugh about it. That's the real game of golf.
I do want to give a shout out on the way out to our friend Chris Torres in Las Vegas. Chris Torres, I believe he runs the Las Vegas chapter of the Tropicana Golf Club. And you want to talk about one of the most loyal supporters ever? Every time we post something, Chris Torres liked this post, shared this post, commented on this post. Just relentlessly supportive. And it is so nice of him to do that. He wears our stuff. He shouts us out. We haven't met Chris in person, but it feels like we know him from the amount of times that we've traded DMs. And then he left us a couple of voice messages over the DMs just thanking us for the podcast and being super supportive and saying that he wants to come out and hang out on the 24th. So a big shout out to one of the nicest guys on the internet, Chris Torres. What a guy.
Yeah, for all the BS that comes with social media these days and the arguments and the everyone has a voice, hateful shit talk. For all that stuff, the few good things that we've gotten from this little social experiment, we've met some incredible people. It's connected us. And yeah, I hope he can make it. I'd love to shake that guy's hand. Yeah, it's nice, Adam, to be reminded every so often that the good that comes from this space is great. And it definitely overshadows the negative stuff. Thankful for that.
On that note, folks, we are going to get the hell out of here. So much to do. You folks listening, go to nationgolf.com, check out the vacationer. Whoop, let me try that again.
Little Egg McMuffin fart.
You folks listening, go to nationgolf.com, check out the vacationer golf bag, and Ryan will start to, I don't know, pack those up, although he can't. So what are you going to do today?
Oh, I've got to get all the final comments to the factory. I have to work on a couple tech packs. There are orders to fulfill and pack, meeting a couple customers. Then I got to get some gear over to Justin to shoot for the Sportsman post. And then from there, I'm going to start locating the party supplies all up in the rafters. Yeah, going to be working a lot harder than you are today. So just know that we're holding it down here. Have fun walking around in circles and talking to people with small talk and hellos and goodbyes, and enjoy your new deodorant too. It's nice to see you to switch to something that won't ruin your shirts. It's going to be a nice eventful day here at the old factory. Hawk, thanks for asking.
Maybe.
See, it's the most powerful response in the English language. Just be very careful on how and when you use that with your significant other, because that power can be kryptonite at the same time. So be very careful. It comes with a warning. Maybe you should think about how you use it, you know?
I'm off to Yorba Linda Country Club to play some golf. And folks, we will be back with you very soon. Regular scheduled programming coming up next Monday. We'll be in studio together and we will figure out our lives, and we will take a collective exhale and we will recap the party on Saturday, which we hope to see you at. Go on over to YouTube, leave a comment on this podcast, check out the full commercial tech spot for the vacation or golf bag. Get over to our Instagram, talk to us there, DM us. We'll read the best comments on this podcast. And folks, we so appreciate the support.
One last thing, Hawk. I got to get this in here. It was from Friday. Guess what?
I'm not falling for it.
What?
You've done this to me on the phone the last 3 times. And then I go, what? And then you hang up.
Guess what?
What? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the show. We will talk to you next week.